Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Okay, for today we have a special guest. Okay, that will share some of his knowledge. Okay, regarding electric vehicle. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly introduce him. Okay, so our special guest today is Mr. Sheikh Muhammad Buhari bin Muhammad Hajar Burhanuddin. Okay, just a quick introduction. He is a tutor at Massa University and also a former automotive trainer. He's also a member of Massa University alumni. Okay, which he graduated from Bachelor in Electrical and Electronics Engineering in 2018. Okay, so currently he is exploring in 3D printing and also 3D modeling. Okay, which is also known as additive manufacturing. Okay. So without further ado, okay, I'm going to invite Mr. Sheikh, okay, to proceed with his sharing session, okay, which the title is actually what makes electric vehicle better than a gasoline vehicle, okay. So without any further ado, so I invite Mr. Sheikh.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me today. Let's jump into our topic today. So our topic today is what makes electric vehicle better than a gasoline vehicle. This is actually a series of sustainability and green technology towards IR 4.0 webinar series, and this is our first episode. Let's begin. So this is a quick introduction from me. My name is Sheikh Muhammad Buhari, mechatronics engineering graduate, working as a tutor in Massa and also an alumni. Previously working in automotive college as a automotive trainer, and currently I'm exploring Industry 4.0 additive manufacturing, or better known as 3D printing. So let's take a look on greenhouse gases that releases to the atmosphere. So this, I'll leave the source at the bottom of the slide. You can check it out later. The greenhouse gases trap heat and make planet warmer, or in another word, it's global warming. Human activities are responsible for almost all increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere over the last 150 years. The largest source of greenhouse emission from human activities in the United States from burning fuel for electricity, heat, and transportation. And on your right, you can see a pie chart of um, of the greenhouse emission by economic sector in 2018. This results is from United States of America. As you can see, 10% is from agriculture, 12% commercial and residential, 22% industry, 27% electricity, 28% is transportation, and transportation is the biggest air pollution created by human being. And second one is electricity. So does electric car mix better than a gasoline engine? We will take a look. First, we have to understand how a gasoline engine work and how electric vehicle work. So in my slide, you can see two basic layout of gasoline engine, gasoline vehicle and electric vehicle. As you can see, electric vehicle have less component but larger component, and gasoline vehicle a bit complicated but lesser component. The blue color component you see on the electric vehicle is the battery, which is the largest and heaviest component in electric vehicle. Let's see how an engine work. You can see that is a gasoline engine which requires fuel, which is petrol or diesel. as a power source to run the engine. The fuel are compressed or combust internally, which force the piston move up and down and rotate the crankshaft, which drives the entire drivetrain. The burn fuel gas creates CO2, which be released to the atmosphere through the exhaust pipe. So basically, how it works, the engine sucks the air and fuel mixture, and it will burn internally or combust internally. Uh, compress or combust. Compress is for petrol engine. Combust is for petrol engine, and compress is for diesel engine. So when the fuel are burnt internally, the gas will be released to the atmosphere, which leads to global warming. Next, we will take a look how electric motor work. An electric motor is an electrical machine that converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. Most electric motor operates through interaction between motor magnetic field and electric current in a wire winding to generate the force of torque applied on the motor shaft. As you can see, the copper winding is the stator, and the surrounding is the permanent magnet. The permanent magnet will force the rotor to spin, and the shaft will be rotate. That will drive the entire drivetrain of the vehicle. Next, is really which is better for the environment, an electric car or a combustion engine? We will take a look. In a vehicle production, the battery production of electric vehicle is more detrimental to the environment than a production gasoline vehicle. The initial environment footprint from current electric production vehicle is greater than gasoline vehicle production. People say electric vehicle are 0% emission, but here this statement says it's more dangerous to the environment compared to electric car, which is true. But we will take a look. Battery production: the large battery in an electric vehicle are made with lithium, which, like any raw material, it need to be mined. The mining process produce greenhouse gases. It is problem will grow unless manufacturing process becomes more efficient. The sales of EV or electric vehicle has reached 1 million in 2017. Some estimate predicted the sales could reach 125 million in the year of 2030. That's 125 times more than our current than sales in 2017. So on your bottom left, you can see a powder that is the lithium powder. Uh, the lithium powder will be removed in the mining process. And on the top right, you can see the layout of the electric vehicle. These lithium are made into batteries, and then that batteries will be stored into uh, the package. You can see in the middle of the layout, the big component is the battery, and that is the battery pack. The battery is the same battery as you can see inside the laptop or your handphone. The same battery is stacked into a battery package and stored into that package. Lithium mining. More than half of the world lithium supply comes from Lithium Triangle, a place between Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina. In the great salt plant of Atacama Desert, high high up in the Andes Mountain, workers drill through the crust of the soil to get mineral brine below the surface. This process takes massive amount of groundwater from surrounding area, resulting decrease of water supply and less accessible water to local agriculture. It takes 750 tons of brine to produce just 1 ton of lithium. That's a lot. However, recycling lithium batteries are not at point it need to be at to deal with the growing number of lithium battery production. As far as I know, the very first Honda Prius, which is not an electric car but it still uses lithium battery. What they do, they take back all the batteries that has been used for the past 10 years in their in Toyota Prius. What they do, they found out the way to dispose the battery. But as far as I know, only Honda is doing that. How about other manufacturers? They still do mining process and creating new battery instead of recycling the old battery. The old battery need to go somewhere, or it is really gonna affect really bad to the environment. So these are great disadvantage for having a electric vehicle. But still, there are good side of electric vehicle. CO2 generation in a vehicle production line. So as you can see below, a comparison of average CO2 produced in a completing one car from mining process to a final product. On the bottom, you can see four types of cars. The first three white car is the electric car, and the last one is a regular gasoline car. I divided three the electric car into three different type of cars. One is average car, average electric vehicle. Second one is economic electric vehicle, and then the last one will be long range electric vehicle. As you can see, the to produce an electric vehicle, an average electric vehicle, it creates 10 metric tons of CO2. That's really big amount of CO2 that has been released to the atmosphere. For economic electric vehicle, it's 2 metric ton, which is way better than average electric vehicle, but still bad for the environment. A long range electric vehicle produces 17 metric ton of CO2. That is because the uh, massive battery under the vehicle needs uh, lots of CO2 to be released during the production. So compared to electric car and gasoline car produce 7 metric ton of CO2. That's a lot, but lesser than average and long range electric vehicle. That's from mining steel to the final product of the gasoline vehicle. Next, power generation. So you need power to run electric vehicle, right? Most of power supply in Malaysia comes from coal power plant. The impact of driving electric vehicle in the region that getting supplies from coal power plant is more detrimental to the environment than region getting power from wind, solar, and hydroelectric plants. Only when this type of power plant becomes more common, the efficiency of driving electric vehicle can be improved. So we saw different type of plants. Only coal power plant release lots of CO2. As you can see in the picture, a power plant releasing CO2 into the atmosphere. We know it is dangerous, but there are no other way. Wind tunnel, wind power generation needs really big area to for the wind to be installed. Solar, it's still expensive. Hydroelectric um, is a really big project. So these are some of the options which has zero generation of CO2. Next, a production of gasoline vehicle. The production of gasoline vehicle produces 7 metric ton of CO2. We discussed this earlier in earlier slide. This number takes count from everything from mining process to final product. That number is lower than EV production is because absent of lithium ion battery. So as I said, lithium ion battery produce lots of CO2. However, greenhouse emission from gasoline powered car after the vehicle rollout from the factory produce 5.2 metric ton per year. As you can see, gasoline vehicles still produce CO2 even after the production on daily basis. That if the car drives average on 19,000 kilometer per year. In total lifespan of a car, it responsible for 57 metric ton of CO2. Um, the total lifespan means 10 years. So for 10 years, a car creates 57 metric ton of CO2. 7 metric ton comes from the production of gasoline vehicle and 50 for running the vehicle for 10 years. That's still a lot. Next, we'll see how much CO2 produced during the milling for petroleum. The crude oil extraction starts from drilling into the earth. After the oil are mined, it need to be refined into gasoline and other petroleum products such as jet fuel, petroleum jelly, and even plastic. This process not only produce CO2 but also creates methane and nitro oxide as well. The oil refinement plant responsible for 280 billion of CO2 overall. That number is for 1 year. So in 1 year, it creates 280 billion. That's maybe I can't imagine how big number it is compared to uh, gasoline engine vehicle production. Now that's really a big number. Next, we'll compare electric vehicle and gasoline vehicle. I'm sorry about this. Let me just remove this. Okay, let's continue. Compared to electric vehicle and gasoline vehicle, an electric vehicle produces 28 metric ton total of CO2 in a total lifespan. A gasoline vehicle produces 57 ton over total lifespan. So as you can see, that's almost half of half of CO2 produced by electric vehicle in a production, and 2 metric ton per year for an electric vehicle and 5 metric ton per year for the gasoline vehicle. We all know that electric vehicle produces zero CO2. but this number comes from the uh, power generation process. So as you can see, the CO2 produced by the electric vehicle is far lesser than um, gasoline vehicle. In conclusion, in conclusion, the dirtiest vehicle, the dirtiest electric vehicle will be more efficient than the cleanest gasoline vehicle. An average electric vehicle can be between 6 months to 2 years more efficient than a gasoline vehicle over the lifespan. That's all from now, but we have more. This is only the first episode from sustainability greenhouse towards IR 4.0. We have more episodes coming out. These are more episode. We have more episode each and every month. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Sheikh, for that insightful sharing session. Okay, we know that the electric vehicles actually produce zero emission. So in practicality, it's very good. Okay, for the usage of our people. Okay, but of course, Mr. Sheikh has informed that there are some from the production line. Okay, but it's actually not that much. Right? If you compare to the gasoline engine, so it's quite a lot of advantage. Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Chef, for that insightful. Okay, so later, okay, maybe by next month we will have another session. Okay, maybe a different topics. Okay, so that we can keep on continuing in our webinar series. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Okay, bye. Assalamualaikum.